See that girl over there, she's gonna get a cold shoulder. She made me straight tonight, last night she let me hold her. It took a little bit of faith and a lot of patience. I got all night long, no hesitation.
Hey, this is Lisa for thebuzzbell.com. Today I'm joined by Amy Ray here at Johnny Brenda's in Philadelphia. It's a funky venue.
Yeah.
It's a great venue. Thanks for coming back and joining us again.
Sure.
The latest project is Dimmin', Feel Kinder. Brandy Carlisle, Melissa York, amazing musicians. Arizona lend their talents to this project. Musically, the spectrum ranges. It's an eclectic mix of songs. Can you describe the album a little bit?
It's kind of it's a rock record with some soul and punk influences, definitely. And then because I'm a folk artist, there's some folk influences too, probably. I mean, we tried to stay on the groove side of things, so, you know, like the rhythm section. Mel is a great drummer, and Greg produced the record, he's the bass player, and they play together a lot, so we tried to pay attention to that element of kind of the way they groove together. And the three of us worked out most of the arrangements, and then brought Kai Wilson to play guitar, and a few other people, and then I did a couple songs with the band called Arizona on there as well, the guest band.
Right.
I mean, it's basically a rock record.
Yeah. But there's amazing, like, some old town, like, soul influences. I think it's great.
That's probably Greg and Mel, you know, kind of their thing.
One of my favorite tracks is SLC Radio.
Oh, cool.
One, because it's just an awesome song, and two, because of the message behind it. Can you explain a little bit about that track?
I wrote SLC Radio after playing in Salt Lake City, actually, with my band, and a few years back, and there's a station there called KRCL that is a great public station. I've known about it for a long time. They do a lot of really interesting programming, and a lot of dialogue between sort of the more fundamentalist side of Salt Lake and the progressive side of Salt Lake, and they really delve into Mormon issues and queer issues, and it's a cool station. It's kind of like Ground Zero, and it embodies sort of to me, like dialogue generally that goes on in the U.S. in some ways, and so I used it as kind of a jumping off point to talk about just sort of how the progressive and the fundamentalist movement sort of intermingle, and how can we, you know, come together and sort of understand each other.
Right.
And so, you know, that's kind of my purpose in it.
Are you missionary? Can you hear what I say? I know the Bible belts, I know the sobering news. Everybody's got their own set of rules. Every kids is all they see. How they fight, we set free. How they fight for you and me. Radio, radio, unity.
We have a lot of our readers, the majority are women, some of whom are young. And for example, a couple weeks ago in Tel Aviv, there was a gunman who went into a gay youth center, and a 17-year-old girl was killed, a 24-year-old counselor was killed. So the young women who watch and read want to know where do they start? How do they help? So do you have any advice?
I mean, with that's a hard one, you know, when you're talking about like where do you start with that kind of grief, that dialogue. And I mean, to me, there's alienation in there, and there's some kind of hatred born of fear. And where we start is just at the youngest point we can, you know, trying to understand each other and talking to people that have fears and may disagree with you, may see you in a certain light, and strengthening that human bond, you know, in some way, so that we can get beyond our differences. I don't know. I mean, that's cliche. I think though, you know, there's always going to be a lone gun person that comes in and is alienated, feels hated, feels hateful in some way, and we just have to work so that there's less of them.
Yes.
That's kind of the way I feel about it. There's less alienation. And also we have to work on where guns come from.
Yes.
And how easy they are to get. And, you know, that kind of stuff. And how militarized, you know, certain countries are. And our country in particular, Tel Aviv as well, you know, is a city for sure. It's very militarized.
Yes.
But, you know, that's a totally different part of the world, and there's so many issues there that I wouldn't begin to understand it, and I wouldn't begin to judge it, you know, but I can only start where I live and say it's, you know, violence is part of our culture in this way that's unhealthy, you know, like anger should be an energy that is somehow used to, you know, make things better, or to sort of change yourself, you know, use your anger and use all that energy you have to sort of change the world for better and make it a better, more positive.
Right. Well, one jumping off point for some of these people who are teenagers who watch and read is your site. There are resources there and great non-profit organizations to help.
Yeah, indigogirls.com and amyray.com, and they're all linked together. So we have activist sections, and there's so many different great resources, and all of them we've checked out, and we sort of keep tabs on what's happening with all the groups and update it and everything. And it's a good place to start. You know, I think you have to start as small as you possibly can so that you're not paralyzed by the immense amount of things there are to do.
Right.